Welcome to Wisdom for Your Day. Sit back and get ready for some knowledge from real people with life lessons you can apply to your journey today. We often view leadership as a specialized genetic trait, a mix of natural charisma and unshakable confidence that a person either has or they don't. This data suggests that global influence often begins at a much lower point. On the left, we see the public myth. On the right, we see the psychological reality shared by many revered figures: academic failure, social anxiety, and deep insecurity. Long before he was a global icon, Mahatma Gandhi struggled with intense social anxiety and stage fright, which came to a head in the Bombay High Court. During his first professional case, he stood up to cross-examine a witness and was unable to speak. His head reeled, his heart sank, and he fled the courtroom in disgrace after refunding his client's fee. His early insecurities went beyond professional settings. As a child, he was terrified of the dark and felt he possessed no inherent value. Gandhi's early life demonstrates that a person can start from a place of deep self-doubt and still develop the capacity for immense historical influence. His development was further stalled by academic and domestic overwhelm. An arranged marriage at age 13 and the responsibilities of nursing his dying father distracted him from his schooling. His grades slipped to the lower half of his class, and he eventually dropped out of his first college entirely, leaving him without a degree or a clear professional future. These failures led to ethical compromises. Desperate to restore his family's status, he attempted to use nepotism and personal connections to secure work, rather than relying on his own merit. When he tried to lobby a British officer named Charles Ollivant for a favor, the encounter ended in trauma. Ollivant was hostile and ordered his staff to physically eject Gandhi from the office. He sought a fresh start by moving to London to study law, but he was immediately met with the stress of cultural isolation and homesickness. To cope, he initially attempted to mask his vulnerabilities by adopting the appearance and hobbies of an English gentleman. He spent his limited resources on dancing lessons and tailored suits, trying to force himself into an identity that didn't fit. These public humiliations and ethical errors left Gandhi at a crossroads where his future depended on how he would eventually process these repeated failures. This chart maps the effort required to convert personal weaknesses into strategic strengths. Gandhi built 5 specific emotional skills to bridge this gap. In the top right quadrant, we see the skill of reframing weakness. He repurposed his crippling shyness as a shield for his thoughts. By forcing himself to pause and filter every sentence, he eliminated impulsive speech. This ensured that when he finally spoke in public, his words carried the weight of deep reflection. He also learned to prioritize inclusive dialogue over ideological purity. This required checking his personal ego. For example, he defended the right of a colleague to remain in a society, despite fundamentally disagreeing with the man's controversial views on health. He strategically moved away from traditional adversarial courtroom tactics, deliberately choosing to value shared humanity over a total victory. In the Dada Abdullah legal case, he realized a court win would bankrupt the opposition and destroy community ties. He persuaded his client to accept a moderate installment plan instead, preserving the long-term relationship between both parties. Converting a psychological deficit into a strength is a costly process. It requires the willingness to sacrifice the immediate satisfaction of defeating an opponent. This led to the development of radical empathy. To earn the trust of those he represented, Gandhi sacrificed elite comforts. He chose communal poverty, traveled in third-class trains, to share the masses' experience. He supported this empathy with rigorous self-discipline, codified into 11 specific vows. These vows demanded total mastery over his daily habits, including his diet and his attachment to material possessions. This discipline created an internal fearlessness. By removing the desire for status or wealth, he ensured that colonial authorities had no material leverage left to use against him. This formed the basis of ahimsa, or nonviolence. It is an active, disciplined weapon used to address injustice without resorting to hatred or physical retaliation. Radical self-discipline acts as a fortress. When an individual has no material needs and fears no loss, the mechanisms of systemic oppression lose their effectiveness. Those internal strengths eventually translated into 5 external skills used to organize and empower his community. The first skill is leading by authentic example through physical effort, which he called bread labor. Performing manual work yourself helps dismantle class hierarchies. It proves a leader won't ask their community to do anything they are unwilling to do themselves. This visualization shows the second skill, asymmetrical organization. By unifying fragmented religious and social groups, ordinary people can outmaneuver massive institutional power structures. The third skill is data-driven activism. In the Champaran district, Gandhi collected 8,000 peasant testimonies, replacing emotional pleas with a wall of unassailable facts. The fourth skill is strategic escalation. By targeting a daily, universally understood issue like the salt tax, Gandhi was able to mobilize in millions across all class and religious divides. External structural change is the end result of this process, but it requires a foundation of rigorous internal organization and factual evidence. The final skill is using moral transparency to manage risk. By publicly announcing his demands and his intended legal violations to the authorities, he gave up the element of surprise. In return, he neutralized his opponent's ability to portray the movement as a deceptive or hidden threat. This framework is intended for those who prioritize long-term influence over loud rhetoric or aggressive dominance. It provides a path for those willing to endure the discomfort of self-discipline to achieve a collective, unbreakable power. You too can apply these life lessons today. Become a champion of change and be the change you want to see. This has been Wisdom for Your Day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. For more, visit us on YouTube by the same name.